YouTube viewers out there. It is Sebastian of Sebastian's Movie Game Time. And on episode 66, I'm gonna be reviewing and talking about movies called Sebastian's Great Horror Films or Great Horror Movies, Part 1. So hello and welcome to episode 66. So let's get started, shall we? First, we have a movie called Bad Moon. It's about a man who comes to live with his sister and his nephew till the family's dog, a German Shepherd dog, begins to suspect that the man is no longer the person that the German Shepherd recognized a long time ago. In fact, it's a different. As the man slowly at nighttime transforms into a werewolf. Oh, Bad Moon. This is a fun film. It's one of those movies. Bad Moon is one of those movies that you want to get up from your feeder and you want to cheer and yell back at the screen. It's those type of fun movies. Bad Moon. It stars Michael Pereira, Merle Hemingway, and Mason Gamble. Bad Moon. Give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a prequel movie called The Thing. The Thing's a prequel about a couple of scientists at a research campsite encounters an a strange creature that's buried in the ice as the creature starts spreading throughout the entire scientist. The Thing. This is a prequel before the original John Carpenter film The Thing. This is a prequel. Uh, the Theme prequel. It stars Mary Elizabeth Winston. I give the Theme prequel 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called Tales of Halloween. It's an anthology film that involves bizarre and Hollywood spooky stories of casting characters during Halloween during Halloween Eve. Tales of Halloween. It's an anthology movie. It stars different multiple stories. Uh, it stars Carolyn Williams, Robert Russler, Madison Eisman, Barry Bostwick, uh, Adrian Curry, Lynn Shay, Mick Garris, who was happy to see, Stuart Gordon, the director of Reanimator and Farm Beyond. It was good to see. It was good to see Stuart Gordon popped up in one of the segments. James Duvall, Joe Dante, and it was great to see John Landis. Um, Tales of Halloween Town. Actually, Tales of Halloween. Give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called Darkness Falls. It's about a man who comes back to his old child hometown where his mother has died when he was a kid by an urban legend creature of the Tooth Fairy. As he comes back to his hometown now that he's older, he must help out his former girlfriend who has a son who's terrified and has nightmare visions of the Tooth Fairy. Darkness Falls. You could look at this movie, Darkness Falls, and you could say this movie's not so scary. But when this movie came out, Darkness Falls, it was considered the most scary film at the time. Um, Darkness Falls. It stars Chanley Key and Emma Caulfield, Darkness Falls. I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have another spooky movie called The Rain. It's about a single mother along with their son who watches mysterious VHS tape. After they watch the VHS tape, the single mother, her son, and her ex-boyfriend, they all become like they all have like months to live before they die. The Rain. Again, you may not look at this movie as a horror movie now, but when it first came out, it was considered the most spooky film. When it first came out, it was the most talked about film. The Rain. It stars Naomi Watts, Martin Henderson, Devon Chase, and Brian Coss. The Rain. You have a 3 out of 3 stars. We have another spooky ghost story film called The Others. It's about a mother and her 2 children who live in their home, which is in England Manor, until it's being possessed and haunted by supernatural forces. The Others. This is one of those movies that it has a great twist that you didn't see coming when you first saw it. The Others. It stars Nicole Kidman, and I thought Nicole Kidman was brilliant in the film. The Others. Give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called House of the Dead. It's about different people who come to an island for a party until they get to the island and they realize everybody on the island have mysterious vanish until they all come back as zombies. Now, as all the people must battle for survival against the zombies. House of the Dead. It's based on the arcade video game. If you remember the arcade and you remember that little shooting arcade game, House of the Dead, that's what the movie's loosely based upon. But obviously, the movie's different than the video game. Um, Look, you could laugh at this movie, House of the Dead. You could laugh at this movie, say, "Oh, come on, this movie is completely cheesy. It's a B movie." You could look at it either way you want. But I thought House of the Dead is really fun. It stars Johnson Cherry, House of the Dead. Give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie 28 days later. It's about a man who wakes up in the hospital as he's walking throughout throughout London and there's no one else around. Sees the whole world, sees the whole London city completely. There's no one around walking, like it's all deserted. Until he encounters zombies as he finds out that he's in a zombie apocalyptic world after he wakes up. 20 days later, it is considered the most fun of a horror movie. It stars Cillian Murphy, who was quite young in the film, and Naomi Harris and Brendan Gleeson. 28 days later, I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a years awaiting movie called 28 Years Later. It's about a group of survivors who's out in the apocalyptic world where crazy cannibals and zombies roam the entire planet. 28 years later, this is like a long waiting 28 days movie, but I thought was really good. I thought was really great. 20 years later, it stars Aaron Taylor Johnson, Jodie Comer, and Ralph Fiennes. 28 years later, I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called Sinners. It's about two brothers living in Clarksville, Mississippi in 1932 as they both open a juke joint bar where it's being surrounded by vampires. Sinners. This is one of those critical acclaim movies that ever came out. Um, it stars Michael B. Jordan, who plays dual character roles. Haley Stanfield is the co-star, and it was great to see Delroy Lindo in the movie Sinners. I thought Delroy Lindo was great, bringing him into this movie. I thought it was really fun to see Delroy Lindo. Uh, Sinners is directed by Ryan Coogler, who directed Marvel's the first Black Panther and its sequel, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and he directed the first two Creed movies. Sinners, I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a Stephen King movie called The Night Flyer. It's about a hot-headed and selfish reporter man who finds out that there's a vampire who drives an airplane at night as he plans to get the scoop on the story first. The Night Flyer. It's based on one of Stephen King's short stories, the Night Flyer. You may never heard about this movie, The Night Flyer, but I really like it. I really enjoy it. It's a fun. It stars Miguel Ferrer as the main reporter character who's selfish and very ambitious. But I thought he was great. The Night Flyer stars Miguel Ferrer. I give the Night Flyer 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called Night of the Creeps. It's about a teenager and a burnout cop who must battle you know, alien parasites that jump from people's mouths. This is a fun, wacky, and completely a cult classic movie. It's really fun. It stars Tom Atkins. Tom Atkins have so many great quote lines in the film that makes it so iconic, and he was funny. The film co-stars Jason Levy and Jill Whitlow. Like I said, The Night of the Creeps is such a fun film. Really is. I get Night of the Creeps 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie, John Carpenter's The Thing. It's about a group of research. It's about a research team, and Antarctica is being hunted by an alien-shaped unknown creature, and they ask themselves that one of them might not be the same person as they thought they were. John Carpenter's The Thing. This is a fun film. John Carpenter's The Thing. It's a cult classic 80s film. It stars Kurt Russell, Wilford Brimley, Keith David, and T.K. Carter. And the score for the theme movie is composed by Ennio Morricone, a very great haunting score, I must add. John Carpenter's The Thing, give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a vampire movie called The Lost Boys. It's about a mother and her 2 sons. They moved to Santa Clarita, where the oldest brother befriended with a young woman till he finds out that the young woman belongs to a clan of vampires. As the oldest brother starts becoming a vampire. The Lost Boys. This is a fun movie. It's a fun film as Joe Schumacher. Joe Schumacher, who directed The Lost Boys, he even said once that when he made The Lost Boys, he said it was the most fun he ever made a movie. And I thought, wow, what a great statement. And it is a fun film. The Lost Boys, it stars Jason Patrick, Kiefer Sutherland, Jimmy Gertz, Edward Herman, um, Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, Billy Ward, Alex Winter, The Lost Boys. I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called Stephen King film, Silver Bullet. It's about a young boy and his sister must convince the boy's uncle that the town's reverend is a werewolf. Silver Bullet. This is such a fun movie. It's a an under the radar kind of movie. It stars Gary Busey, Corey Haim, Everett Miguel, Bill Smitrovich, Terry O'Quinn, and Megan Follows. Stephen King's Silver Bullet. I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called Poltergeist. It's about a family who realize that their daughter gets sucked inside their TV set as they must find a way to rescue their daughter who's been inside the TV. Poltergeist. This is a spooky of a ghost story kind of movie. It's directed by Toby Hooper, who directed Poltergeist, and is produced or executive produced by Steven Spielberg, I recall. Poltergeist. It stars Joe Bess Williams, Craig T. Nelson, uh, and of course, you have the late Heather O'Rourke, who's the little girl in the Poltergeist. It's very sad that she's no longer around anymore, and because she passed a long time ago, and it's very sad, that she passed. So, you know, but Poltergeist, I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called Phantasm 2. It's about a teenager kid named Mike from the original Phantasm film. Along with him and his girlfriend are being stalked and pursued by an evil man who goes by the name the Tall Man from the first Phantasm film. Um, I'm found Phantasm 2. It's a fun film. Phantasm. Well, at least to me. It stars Reggie Bannister and Angus Scrim as the evil tall man. Phantasm 2, I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have we have Tales from the Hood. It's about 3 drug dealers who get told different stories by the funeral director. Um, that tells them different stories about consequences and racism and other bizarre stories. Tales from the Hood. This is a great 90s film. It stars Clarence William III, Paula J. Parker, Joe Torre, David Allen Greer, Corbin Bernstein, Roger Smith, Art Evans. Uh, who else? Um, Tales from the Hood. It's a fun film, like I said. I get Tales from the Hood 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called Body Parts. It's about a man who loses his arm in a car accident till he gets a new arm attached to him. Till he realizes that his new arm it actually belonged to a serial killer who was put on death, who was executed and killed on the day at the same time he was getting his new arm attached on him. Body parts. This is a science fiction, I guess you could say, and with a little horror movie. Body parts. It stars Jeff Fahey and Brad Dorff. I thought Body Parts was really fun. Body Parts. I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a wacky over the top movie called Eaten Alive. It's about a disturbed caretaker man who runs this little, hotel where he feeds all his guests to his pet of crocodiles. Eating Alive. This is a film I don't think all of you have never heard about, but it's a fun film. Eating Alive. It's in the same vein. It's in the same vein as Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I'm not sure you didn't know about this. Eaten Alive is directed by Toby Hooper, who directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. Well, this is Toby Hooper, its second movie. Toby Hooper, Toby Hooper made the second movie, Eaten Alive, after Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, I mean, that's why I said that this Eaten Alive movie is kind of almost in the same vein as the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Eaten Alive. It stars Neville, Brand, Mel Ferrer, Caroline Jones, Marilyn Barnes, and Robert Englund before he was Freddy Krueger. Eaten Alive. I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called The Shining. It's about a man who takes his wife and his son to an overlooked hotel, you know, where the hotel is filled with, supernatural evil ghosts and that starts taking possess, the father to become like a deranged crazy. The Shining is directed by Stanley Kubrick, and I thought Stanley Kubrick, I thought Stanley Kubrick did a different take on The Shining, but I thought it was fun. The Shining stars Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall. The Shining, I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a remake movie called Dawn of the Dead. It's about a group of people who take shelter at an indoor shopping mall that's being overrun by zombies. Um, look, you could say whatever you want to say after 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 what I'm about to say. Dawn of the Dead remake. This is obviously a remake Dawn of the Dead because the original one, Dawn of the Dead, came out in the 70s. Well, I've seen the original Dawn of the Dead, and to be honest, I'm not really a fan. I wasn't really too a fan of the original Dawn of the Dead, but I like the remake Dawn of the Dead way better because I like to remake Dawn Dead better because the zombies run super fast at the characters, and I thought that was cool when I saw that the original Dawn Dead didn't have. Uh, the Dawn Dead remake is directed by Zack Snyder, who went on to direct 300, Watchmen, Batman vs Superman, Sucker Punch. Well, it's a Zack Snyder film. Dawn of the Dead remake, and the remake Dawn of the Dead. It was written by James Gunn before he did Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, before he directed Slither, and he went on to do other great stuff. So yeah, James Gunn wrote the remake Dawn of the Dead, while Zack Snyder directed the Dawn of the Dead remake. The Dawn of the Dead remake stars Sarah Polley, Ving Rhames, Jake Weber, Mekhi Phifer, Michael Kelly, and Ty Burr. Dawn of the Dead remake, I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a great spooky of a film. John Carpenter's The Fog. It's about a mysterious fog that spreads through the entire of the small town, where inside the fog are ghosts, or you know, are people or corpses who came back from the dead. Um, as the people in the small town, they must fight for survival. The Fog. This is an all-time classic, spine chilling of a movie. It stars Tom Atkins, Jimmy Lee Curtis, Adrian Babu, uh, Janet Lee, Johnny Hausman, and Paul Holbrook. John Carpenter's The Fog. I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a David Cronenberg movie called Videodrome. It's about a TV programmer man who gets pulled into a weird and a bizarre and dangerous world. Videodrome. It's a David Cronenberg film, like I said. Videodrome. There's some extreme, disturbing, you know, effects. That is makeup effects that is created by Rick Baker. Videodrome. It stars James Woods and Debbie Harry, who's the lead singer of the band Blondie. Videodrome. I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called The Grave Dancers. It's about after one night, 3 best friends get drunk and dance around three tombstone graves. As they're being drunk, until they find out that the 3 tombstone graves that they dance on are 3 graves of 3 serial killers who come back as ghosts and spirits. Um, The Grave Dancers. This is such a great horror movie. If you never seen it or you never heard about it, it's really fun. The Grave Dancers. It stars Dominic Purcell. The Grave Dancers. I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have an H.P. Lovecraft movie called Farm Beyond. It's about 4 people who must stop a resonator machine before it takes over their minds and controls their bodies. Farm Beyond. This is H.P. Lovecraft um film, like I said. Farm Beyond is directed by Stuart Gordon, the same director who's made Reanimator. Farm Beyond stars Jeffrey Combs, Robert Crampton, and Kim Forey. I like the makeup effects in the Farm Beyond. They're so bizarre and weird, but I thought they were great. Farm Beyond, I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have another H.P. Lovecraft movie I really like called The Resurrected. It's about a private investigator who gets hired by a woman to find out what's going on with her husband who's been acting mysteriously weird. They're resurrected. This is a fun under the radar movie. Um like I said, it's another H.P. Lovecraft based on the works of it. They're resurrected. It stars John Terry, Jane Sebet, and Chris Sarandon. They're resurrected. I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have an under the radar, completely hidden gem of a horror movie called The Guardian. It's about 2 couples who hire a nanny to watch over their newborn baby. What the couples don't know is that their new nanny they have hired is actually an old ancient century witch who feeds newborn babies to a magical tree that grants the nanny to become immortal younger. The Guardian is directed by a great director, William Friedkin, the director of The Exorcist and The French Connection. So that's who William Friedkin is. Graveyard Shift. It stars Jenny Seagrove. I give The Guardian 3 out of 3 stars. We have a Stephen King movie called Graveyard Shift. It's about a cruel owner of a mill as he must gather other employees as they work a graveyard shift until they realize that the mill is a secret breeding ground to uh, rats, um, rats, or like an army of bat rats. This is a Stephen King, based on a Stephen King story. Like I said, Graveyard Shift. This is a fun film, and like I said, it's a under the radar hidden gem of a movie. It stars David Andrews, Kelly Wolf, Stephen Mock, Andrew Divoff, and Brad Dorff as the exterminator. I like the Graveyard Shift. To those who's never seen or never heard about it, I give the Graveyard Shift 3 out of 3 stars. Let's see. We have a movie called The Fun House. It's about 4 young teenagers who spend the night inside a haunted house where they meet a masked, disfigured monster that begins stalking them. The Fun House. This is a fun movie called The Fun House, directed by Toby Hooper. And it stars Elizabeth Burridge. The Fun House. I'll give it 3 out of 3 stars. And finally, we have a movie, another Stephen King short story called The Mangler. It's about a folding laundry machine that has supernatural possessed evil inside of it. Starts killing people until a detective must find a way to stop the laundry folding machine. The Mangler, like I said, is based on a story by Stephen King. It's directed by Toby Hooper. It stars Robert Englund and Ted Levine. The Mangler, I give it 3 out of 3 stars. Okay, everybody, that will do it for episode 66 of Sebastian's Movie Game Time. Thank you for watching. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And you get new contents, episodes. Thank you for watching. And I'll see all of you at the movies.